Rolling stock, rolling stock, rolling stock, rolling stock, rolling stock, rolling stock, rolling stock. Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube video. In this video I shall be driving the Class 70. Well, specifically the class, this is the PowerHaul thing. Well, there are two Class 70s in the thing. Yep, as you can see. I don't normally show the loading up screen, but I'm doing it now, and I shall be playing this scenario, which will last for 60 minutes, to transport goods from Portbury to Rugeley P S. Well, I probably won't be driving the whole thing. Maybe it's the scenario. No, sorry, not the scenario. Oh well, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, let me get going with it. Now, as you may or may not be able to tell, I'm actually using a slightly different setup. Well, it's the two cameras that are shooting the keyboard, they're still the same, and the one that's shooting my face, I've repositioned it to this better location so you can see my beautiful face better. Weird. And also I am shooting, well, I'm not shooting, I'm recording my voice using two microphones this time. One is here, the other one is shotgun microphone here. I can't find any mount, well, I've got the mount, but I can't mount the mount onto a stand, so I'm just resting it there, so I don't know how well it will turn out. But we've got the what is this called? Lavalier microphone here, so that should be good enough, and it has been working in the past. I'm just thinking of using another microphone to improve the audio quality a bit, but it's next to the computer, so I don't know, it will probably pick up the computer sound. Actually, I think that's likely, because it's blowing air right onto the microphone. Let me maybe point this a bit forward. It shall be better now. Lovely. Right, my game is still loading. Whilst it's loading, I shall be talking about things. So I'm not sure if I've finished it, if I had finished this scenario before, because I've reinstalled the game a few times, I shall say. Well, not exactly reinstalling, but something happened that can get rid of the record. But anyway, we're hauling over 1,000 tons of coal. I'm not sure if that includes the wagons, from this place to this place. So my signal is currently red. Let's have a look outside. I've got only one locomotive and plenty of wagons. I think my lights are already on. I shall have a look. It's only to stop at that location. I remember there's one of the scenarios where I think this is it, where my wagon is a bit faulty and I have to do some other thing to remove the faulty wagon. Anyway, let me get into forward. And my headphone cable is in there. Well, what I like about this train is that tells you the speed in the needly thing and in a number. The drink of the video is, I've got water and sencha, which is a type of green tea. That also tells you the pressure of completely... No, hang on, that's applying. No, that's releasing. 4.9 is completely released. And the brake handle is actually quite sensitive. When you apply about a half of the brake handle, at least in the game, it's already full service. I don't know why that pressure is going up. and then I release a bit and it goes down. Actually, I haven't a clue how it works. Right, I shall be going. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure, because my headphones, the earsets I'm using are from Sony, and they call this technology an open ear technology. Basically, it doesn't seal your ears. I sometimes wear these when I'm outside and about. This is water, by the way. I sometimes wear these when I'm out and about because it doesn't block the surrounding sound. And I actually wanted to try them on, use them to monitor the audio out of the camcorder when I'm out and about, because I don't often have the camcorders on, and when you turn it off it won't send audio through. So if I wear the ones that seal the ears, then I won't be able to hear the surrounding, which is not very safe. Unless I take them off, but if I keep taking them off and putting them on, that's a bit annoying. So, tuck my shirt in, and it's quite hot. You can see that I'm wearing shorts. No, I mean short sleeves. Of course I'm wearing shorts as well. And here, helpfully, it's got this load pot, which tells you roughly how much tractive force of the capabilities being used. That's the engine speed, and it tells you what notch you're in somewhere here. I think it's that. Yeah, that one. This one. I shall be slowing down. And also I pushed this thing, don't know if you can see, this thing a bit forward a bit, so you can see the keyboard more clearly. Oops, I can go. If you pay attention, you can hear the electric motor sound. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, before I get into talking about the train, I shall be talking about my tea. It's sencha from Twining. It's a type of green tea from Japan, of course, because most green teas are from Japan. Well, that's not exactly true, some are from China, and that's India. I'm not sure if India does green tea. Anyway, I brewed this in cold water overnight, I think for probably 12 hours or so, and it turns out quite nice. I removed the tea leaves, of course, put them in an infuser so that it's easier to remove, because I don't want to overbrew. You can still overbrew the tea in cold water if you leave it in for long enough, and that doesn't give a pleasant taste. I brew it in cold water because I discovered that for cold tea tastes better in cold water. No, sorry. Cold tea tastes better if you brew it in cold water rather than if you brew it hot and leave it to become cold. And I can't really handle... I think my recorder was peaking. Anyway, I can't really handle hot tea in such hot weather. I don't have a good heat tolerance. Anyway, the train is the Class 70, which is I think it's got 3,000 something horsepower. It's made by General Electric of America, that is. blow some dust off. Because this slide is shining at quite an angle and I can see the dust quite clearly. I think I'm waiting that HST to come past. Now when I apply the brake, I also look at the brake cylinder to see exactly how much is being applied. What was I going to say? Well, this train, another American manufacturer of trains that make products for the British Rail is the EMD, but the EMD class, they've got class 59, class 66, I think. That one is a bit. It's also got class 67, but that wasn't manufactured by EMD. They were using the EMD technology. That one is a bit more European, whereas this one is a bit more American. You can see that it's got a platform on the side, whereas the European locomotives usually have an engine room, so this platform will be enclosed inside. And also this dashboard thing is also rather American. It's not completely American, but it's a bit more American than the others. And what's interesting about this locomotive, bleeding hell, what's that? Probably do some sand. Oh, I need to wait for the thing brake to release. Because it's quite a long train, when you release the brake and it shows you it's been released, it may not have released the wagons at the back, so it's a good idea to give it a bit of weight before you actually pull off, which I didn't because I forgot. Stupid fat train. Yeah, I'll show you the wiper. Don't know why I did that. Yeah, something interesting about this train is that, well, this is not the interesting bit. That it's got 2 bogies, like most of other locomotives, but each bogie has 3 axles, so it's a 6-axle locomotive. And there are some other locomotives on the British rail network that have 2 3-axled bogies. So 3 plus 3. There's the class. What is it? There's a class 37, I think. The class 47 and the class. I'm not sure about class 45. And the class 66 and the class 59. Hang on, I think it's better if I say name the manufacturers. The class 37 by English Electric, class 47 by is it Brush Traction? I can't remember. And the 59 classes 59 and 66 by EMD. And what they have in common, you can categorize those ones and the class 70, which is this one I'm driving, as you can group them together because what they have in common, they're all they're all 6-axled with 2 bogies, each has 3 axles, and all these are electric, like as it is the case with larger motorized vehicles in general. It's not just trains but also ships, and they're all very powerful, 3,000 something horsepower I believe, or 3,000 something watts. But what this train, the Class 70, stand out amongst the other ones is that this one has got... The engine on this one is a 4-stroke high-speed diesel engine, whereas on the other ones in the group, they're 2-stroke medium speed, which is quite common on just about anything that has got this much power. It's not very common to see a high-speed engine or a 4-stroke engine on such thing. It appears one of the wagons in the train has developed a hot axle box. The signalman has been contacted for advice. Thank you. I think it's a leading wagon because I played this scenario before. Well, let me get that dust. I don't know if any of the camera views are shooting the screen in frame. Well, I'm not under timed pressure, so I need not to rush. I remember this is the gradient that's very steep. I mean, so steep that it won't even accelerate on max power when I'm at this sort of speed, which is not very far. I think it's only 30 something miles per hour, and the speed is still decreasing. One of the reasons I set the game to pause when the dialogue pops up is that I can't really read the thing quickly enough. This is Bristol, blah blah blah. I don't care what signal box you're from. With a hotbox, blah 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 blah. Please stop. Just tell me what to do. Well, actually, it does. It would be more helpful if they make a separate paragraph, as in for. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because in real life they will call you rather than displaying a text in front. Please stop at the end of Filton Abbey Wood platform 2. So I need to stop at platform 2 of Filton Abbey Wood. I need to remember that. Filton Abbey Wood. Filton Abbey Wood platform 2. Yep, that's correct. Filton something Wood. Abbey Wood platform 2. Yes, I was going to say things, but I don't think I'm able to, because I need to remember that. Filton Abbey Wood plat 2. Some tricky thing about this scenario, it's actually not that hard to play, even though difficulty says that it's maximum difficulty. I think it's just a matter of remembering things, because it won't show up in the task list. The speed is still decreasing even though I'm on max power. By the way, I have the window slightly open. Hang on, is my tie a bit eccentric? Not a clue. Anyway, Get going, you stupid fat cow. What was I going to say? Is it Filton Abbey Wood platform 2? Yes. Yes, my memory works. Yes, it's improving. I'll give you a tip for choosing a good memory. It better have good semiconductors. Anyway, yeah, my hair is getting a bit long because I haven't visited Mr. Barber in quite a while. Yes, you may or may not have noticed that I have a new music, well, not really new, but revised, of my singing, which is absolutely cringy. Well, that's the point. I mean, my channel is full of cringe. That's me singing. So for the bus one, I sing omnibus. I mean, it's 4 notes. It's the word that spans across 4 notes, so one of the syllables would be repeated. And then for goods vehicle, I sing goods vehicle. I know via, the V vehicle. That's technically what. Well, some argue it's 2 syllables, but that's technically 1 syllable. Yeah, it's 2 vowels that make up 1 syllable. That's known as a diphthong. Diphthong. If it's 1 vowel to make up a syllable, it would be a monophthong. And if it's 3 syllables, sorry, 3 vowels to make up a syllable, it would be known as a triphthong. Examples of that would be fire or flower. Flower. Yeah, that's technically 1 syllable in modern linguistics. Anyway, yeah, so that's the... And then for rolling stock, I sing the word phrase, rolling stock. Yeah, those are the ones I made. Blimey, my camera needs to be plugged in, hang on. This is bad, this is bad. Hang on. This is bad, it would not be good if it runs out of battery. I didn't know the battery would go so quickly. I think my phone... Shut up. Is it plugged in? No? Oh, hang on, I unplugged it up from the wall. Let me give the game a pause. Sorry about this mess. Plug it in there. Brilliant. Yep, that's plugged in. That has got plenty of battery. That also has got plenty of battery. I don't usually keep them plugged in when thing happens because I don't want cables going all over the places. Yep. Filton Abbey Wood platform 2, that's where I shall be stopping. I'm actually a bit hot in here, but yeah, that's what I have to deal with. Let's stop for a cup of tea. I've got a bottle of tea. A third of a bottle. I think that may be a bit too much break. Just about right. Right, I'm stopping here and wait for instruction. Yeah, so this was made by General Electric. The engines, when I say engines, I don't know how many engines it's got actually. Some locomotives have more than 1 engine. They work in parallel, so it's basically 2 smaller engines. We are pathing you over to Bristol Parkway. Stop the train in the up passenger loop. Up passenger loop is where I shall be stopping. Hang on, a brake release. And you can see the compressor thing. Yeah. Basically, I shall be going when that comes off. I'll apply a little bit. Otherwise, it may roll off a bit. It's going a little. Come on. I mean, come off. I think I can go now. Maybe. Yep. Yeah, so basically, with I think it uses vacuum brake. Anyway, it doesn't matter whether it's air brake or vacuum brake. It takes time for the brake at the back to be released because the air needs to travel through all the wagons in between. Lovely. Whereas with a multiple unit, I think it's got more than one actuator, so they're all released at the same time, and more than one brake cylinder. I mean, reservoir. I don't think I've ever done a freight train haulage before on my channel, have I? Can't remember. I may have done a long time ago. Because the other day I was thinking, I do buses and lorries, so that's passenger and goods on road. But when it comes to railway, I seem to often just do passenger and not freight, and that's a bit unfair, which is why I'm doing a freight run now. Is it up passenger loop I'm stopping at? Ugh, memory. Probably give it a bit of speed. Shut up. What was that beeping for? Oh, it was probably the speed limit reduction. Where was I? Oh yeah, Bristol Parkway up passenger loop. I can see that on the thing, on this thing. My screen is rather dusty. Let me give it a brush. Yes, I haven't been making much video recently. Well, it's not exactly that, but I mean, it's not exactly that long ago that I did a Let's Play or Len Diesel video. I don't know why I call it Let's Play. Well, I did that a long time ago and I just kept it that way. Lovely. I think this thing will use electric brake. It better do. By the way, the camera that's shooting my face is above the screen. What was... oh, thought there was a problem with my train. You can definitely hear the electric motors. Yes, as a freight train driver, you need to take into account the time it takes to apply the brake and to release the brake, because when you apply the brake, it doesn't come on immediately, and when you release it, it doesn't come off immediately. And of course, when you apply the power, it doesn't come on immediately. Right, the leading wagon, which is the first one, uncover it from the train and shunt the wagon into the engineer siding. Go via Bristol Parkway spur head shunt. Bristol Parkway spur head shunt. Now normally you will have to get off and undo the thing. Here you can just do it from here. What the flips they get going? Stupid. Here, the leading wagon, so that one, that's a locomotive, that's the wagon. Go with it. Now, go in. Hang on, forgot to release a brake. Now, because it's relatively short, so when it comes off, it basically just comes off, rather than having to wait for the thing at the back to come off. Come on, go. And because it's not very heavy when it goes, when you apply power, it just goes. Where's the spur head shunt thing? I need to be aware of the speed limit, which is 15. Yes, because my earphones are open ear, basically they haven't got whips, don't need to go that far. Do this. Now I'm on the other end. Oh, you know, instead of going, no, that's the wrong end. Instead of reversing it, just go to the other end and drive forward. My head is a bit funny. Lovely sound. Why can't I just leave it here? No, I can't, because it will block my way to get out. There might be a speed limit of 10 or 5. No, 5 is when it's indoor, isn't it? Can't remember, I mustn't go fast. Although I say it is light to haul just one, it is still heavy. It's probably heavier than your car, or even the omnibus. Actually, I'm quite certain that it will be heavier than your car. Whoopsie daisy! I was about to go past, wasn't I? Right. Now what? Uncouple it. There we go. Go back to the head shunt and then run around the train. Right. Now normally I will have to undo the setup and the thing, but it's the game that it won't do the... It will just keep your reverser settings and all the thing when you change cab, because it's stupid. It shouldn't do that in real life. You will have to turn off the cab and turn the other end on. I think I can stop here. Oh yeah, it did say run along. Oh, for flip's sake, no! Why is it telling me to go there? It was pointing towards the correct. No, I'm not going there. I'm going. Oh, I can't change. I can't change where I'm going. Ooh, it was pointing me to go via platform 4 earlier, but. Stupid signalling person. I'll reverse a bit. You can actually hear that it sounds a bit different when it's in neutral and in forward or reverse. I think that's when it engages it activates, energizes the. Also, it excites the generator. Yeah. Although I'm not sure about that, that's what I guess it does. When I'm in when I'm in neutral, yeah, the engine just goes. But if I go to forward, it seems to be slower when idling. That's because it's probably running the generator and things. But the generator needs to be excited in order to work. Right, don't change me back to the engineering shit. I think I broke my game. Or was I? Let me have a look. It's no. Oh, it's going that way. Oh yeah, it changed it back. Oh well, whatever. I can see the track as well. It's guiding me towards the left. Oops, I thought I was going to speed. But the speed limit is 25, so I can go faster, I presume. I won't go anywhere above notch 2 for now, because I have, oops, I'm not hauling anything, and if you apply power it will just go, because it's very powerful, although it's also very heavy. Run now to the reversing point and request to, yeah, there, request to go. Right, I don't think there's more problem on the journey. The rest of the after I couple those wagons, the rest of the journey will be in peace. Hopefully. I mean, the speed limit allowed me to go faster, but I'll just stay at the speed because I will be stopping in a bit. Right. Request clearance denied. Brilliant. I'll just stay here in case it goes wrong again. Come on, let me go. Oh well, there's probably some other train going. Oh. It's telling my camera is telling me that the temperature is a bit high. Right, I use some liquid cooling, hopefully it will cool down the ambient temperature, so I mean it's not going to damage the thing, because it would just vaporize in no time, and it's probably not going to go in the optical parts, and electronic things aren't actually, it won't do any harm basically. I won't go through the hassle of explaining because it will be rather scientific. Right, can I go now? Yep. Oh, of course the temperature is high, it's being charged and recording at the same time. I've never had a high temperature warning, how come? Stupid weather. It may be it's next to my other computer, which is making the oopsie daisy, watch my speed, which makes the ambient temperature higher. Bit of touch. It is a bit hot. Hopefully it will survive, otherwise it wouldn't be good. Actually, I am a bit concerned that it may cut off halfway through. I haven't got a fan, otherwise I would just blow air to it. Right, let me spray a bit more to cool it down. Don't have an aircon or an air cooler. on the subject of water damaged electronics, I recently accidentally washed my power bank and I just disassembled it, let it dry, and it's working again. It's not, I mean, it's not a good idea to do that because basically water damages, I said I wasn't going to explain this, but I am now. Basically, water usually damages a piece of electronic circuit board by conducting electricity to the wrong place, basically. And it can, if it's conducting electricity when it's not meant to do, it can cause the thing to burn. That bleeding tail lamp's still there. Did I say that this train has got 8 notches of acceleration? You can probably tell that already. Right. Don't apply too much brake, otherwise it will take forever to release. Later, that is great. Let's have a look. Lovely. Right, I'll just drive up to it. Gently. Slowly but surely. Please don't overheat! Lovely. Just give it another push to make sure. Shut up. Good. Now I would do a pull away test, but then if I do that it would just pull away. Because normally you physically couple it, do a pull away test and then couple the thing. No, you, yeah, that. To make sure it's coupled. Go to this end. And if I press 2, it registered that as the front and that as the back. Because it's relative, that end is the front and that end is the back, the rear. Right, I can go now. Again, wait for the wagons to release brake. Although you can give it a gentle push. And also the, you know, the springiness of the couple, the coupling facility between 2 wagons. They're not exactly rigid, they're a bit springy, so you can compress slightly or stretch slightly with 2 wagons. It's only very little, however, the littleness can add up. So the entire train has got quite a lot of couplings in between, so that can make it very springy. Well, not very, but significantly springy. You can feel that when you try to pull away and then you release. It seems to pull back a bit, and you can tell so by the speed. Better get going. I've got 21 miles left to go. This is going to take forever. Right, come on, speed. I think there's a down gradient later and then an up one in the tunnel. Actually, I just want to wee. You are not to go anywhere, Mr. HST. Until I come past, of course. Yep, lovely. Yeah, so basically, if I'm honest, I haven't actually been feeling that well. Basically, I haven't been very happy, and when I'm not very happy, I don't usually make a video. And then when I don't make a video, I don't usually become very happy. So that's a bit of a looping effect. So I forced myself to make a video. Well, I didn't actually force it. Basically, I made myself make this video so I can feel a bit better about myself. Even though no one is probably watching my video, as always. Blimey, it is hot in here, stupid. Cool. Yep, I use this spray bottle in summer to spray water, which can cool the surrounding air down a little bit by evaporation. Right in my face. How many miles have I got to go? Oh, it says in 8 miles something now on here, but on there it says 19 miles. Brilliant. I trust the marker on the screen a bit more rather than one down here. Oh, we've still got half an hour to go according to this. Come on, pick up speed. It lets me to go up to 90, but the speedometer only goes up to 80. Don't know if you can see. Don't know if you can tell my actual time on the watch. Well, it doesn't matter. This video was recorded. What in my case is being recorded on the 2nd of June. Yep, this is the gradient down bit I was talking about in the tunnel. I didn't show you. I thought that was the echo of the horn, and then realised that that's the electric motor. I don't think that's the end of the tunnel. It's just, well, it's the end of the tunnel, at the end of the visible tunnel. Oh, actually, it does show a bit of end here. At the end, and then go in again, and then come out again. Yeah. Or maybe the bending bit, the trough in the tunnel, that's probably another scenario I was thinking. Now the speedometer won't display the speed for over 80, not even the digital one. The one down here, the game one, that will, but this one won't. I can demonstrate. Yeah, that still says 8.37 miles. It's been saying that for quite a while. So yeah, you see 80, now this thing goes up, but that thing stays there. Haha. I'd better slow down a bit. Although I don't need to. Yeah, I've got that to read. Actually, no, I should slow down a bit because it may not be safe to go that fast. Even though my speed limit allows me to do so. Now, am I going to... Oh, maybe the trough in the... No. It's going at quite a speed, actually. So I've gone past Bristol. I've gone out of Wales. Did I even start in Wales? At the border, wasn't it? Or did I start in England? Not a clue. Maybe the trough of the that I was referring to was this bit, the upcoming bit. And I shall be slowing down a bit to meet the new speed regulation limit. Now, yes, I say this is a bit American, although it's not. The thing itself is more European than American. I'm just saying that it's got more American characteristics than some of the European British locomotives. American locomotives typically only have one driving cab. I shall be keeping an eye on the speed. Don't know if I should turn my engine off. Definitely not. You should not turn your engine off. Some trains apply emergency brake if you turn off the engine whilst you're moving. I mean, yeah, it does save fuel, but then this is a large engine. It won't be practical to do that anyway. I was gonna say it may break the starter, but then I realised that it doesn't have a dedicated starter. Presumably, usually it's started by the generator. Presumably. Right, I think I'm right. Yeah, this is the trough I'm referring to, which I am arriving, and we'll be there in a moment. Please don't break my camera. Stupid heat. Right. Because heat can actually damage the machine. Surrounding. I'm actually using water to attempt to cool the bleeding. I'm not sure what that blue marker marks. Maybe the trough or the peak if you're going up. Let me check the battery level on that. Plenty. Was there another blue marker? Then now I can't even go up. Oh, well, water can corrode some of the metals. I think that includes printed circuit board. No, I don't mean corrode, I mean cause oxidation, or depends on the material as a water. But in terms of electronics, it causes damage by acting as a conductor, and well, when I say water, I mean water with impurity, because pure water doesn't conduct electricity. And there's that, and if you cut off a power supply from a printed circuit board, you can actually wash it and make sure you dry it before you connect it to power source. And when I say power supply, that's not just a power supply, and make sure it doesn't have any capacitors on board. And yeah, so basically my power bank, I accidentally washed it and it's got water inside, so I had to disassemble it and let it dry. It wasn't working at the time, but when I let it dry, it then resumed working. Did I say walking? And yeah, if you connect the wrong ends, it can conduct the electricity through, and it may do the wrong thing. Fortunately for my power bank, the water didn't connect the positive and the negative end of the thing. Although I'd imagine if it did, it would short the circuit and it would heat up. And hopefully the battery wouldn't heat up too much, it would heat up the water and cause it to vaporize. But it's not, just don't do such a thing. I was daft enough to leave it in the bag, and I was washing the bag, so I repeat my audio. I was washing my bag and I ended up washing the thing as well, the battery pack, power bank. When I said I disassembled it, I didn't disassemble any electronic stuff. I just took the bit out. The electronic components are still all in one piece. I didn't disassemble that. It's just the casing that I took out, and it's got the glue outside, so I had to take it off. I just forced it out. It's not really glue; it's a tape. Let me just slow down. It's the tape thing. I think I'm getting there. As in, I'm not very far. It's a tape with two sticky sides, that sort of thing. Yeah, let me give it a gentle touch to. Yeah, it's not too hot. Actually, maybe a bit hot to touch. I just don't want. Whoops, I knocked my microphone bit. I just don't want the heat to damage the camera, because it can. I'm saying as heat, as if heat can, but water can't. But water can as well. It's just not in the way that if it needs water, it will be broken and unfixable. Not in that sort of sense. Although I reckon my telephone, Nokia 800 Tough, can handle the heat quite well. If it's tough, you know what that means. Especially when it's from Nokia. It's quite a good phone. Yeah. I've got a smartphone as well. I don't think I had the Nokia 800 Tough before in my last video, but I do have it now. When I had the Nokia 800 Tough replaces the Nokia 2720 Flip. I think I prefer this one. I like this one more than the Flip one. But when I got the Flip one, I didn't think that would be the case. And I don't know where I placed my smartphone over there. Probably give it a bit of more speed. I haven't been drinking because I want to wee. Actually, my mouth is a little bit quite dried. I shall drink some water. And not tea, because tea will cause me to dehydrate, but also cause me to wee. Whereas water causes me to wee, but at least it will make me more hydrated. It's interesting that most trains won't show you an ammeter, but the game will. Okay, maybe not most trains. Some quite a lot of trains in Britain, they do show you the ammeter, which basically tells you how much current is going through. What, I don't know. It's probably the current that comes out of the generator. I'm not sure. I don't even know what sort of electrical system is employed on this train. It's got generator and it's got the motor. I think it's usually for diesel electric locomotive, the engine drives drives an alternator, which is the thing that does what? That alternates. The thing that an alternator is an electrical generator that generates AC. I don't know how many phases it's got, and it generates AC, and it goes through a rectifier or an assembly of rectifier, and becomes DC, which is then regulated by driving electronics to control the motors. And the motors are likely to be I don't think the motors are going to have permanent magnets, although I wouldn't be surprised if they do. And the reason why I don't think they have permanent magnets is that I mean, for lighter trains they would have permanent magnets these days because it's more efficient. Because without permanent magnets, you will either have a squirrel cage or you will need brushes to energize the electromagnet of the rotor. If you have brushes, it will cause friction, and that's not very good. That's what they used to do in the old time because they didn't have sophisticated enough electronics to control the driving system. So they literally put the motor through a DC power source. But these days they try to get rid the brushes and slip rings, if you prefer. Yeah, there's that. If they use squirrel cage, they're going to. It's not gonna. The thing is, squirrel cage. Actually, I think it probably does use squirrel cage, because if they use some sort of synchronous AC drive system, they would, and they use permanent magnets, it would be tricky when you need to engineer it. Although I think they can de-energize the permanent demagnetize the permanent magnets using some machine before they do the engineering. I'm not sure about that. I forgot about my knowledge on magnetism. Yeah, what's the word for chit chat of shame? I know most of the viewers probably haven't a clue what I'm saying, because unless you're an engineer which makes engine. Yeah. Oh, for those of you who don't know much about engineering or don't know much about trains, I forgot to say this for the introduction, because I assume my audience are quite knowledgeable, even though I know they're not. This is a diesel electric locomotive. Most locomotives in Britain are diesel electric, and most heavy diesel locomotives use diesel electric powertrain. What it does is that it's got a onboard diesel engine that drives the electrical generator, and it generates electricity, which then is regulated by electronics, usually, and it's used by the electric motors to drive the trains. So the diesel engine doesn't directly mechanically drive the train. The reason to use diesel electric powertrain for heavier machine, the reason why you don't use it on lighter machine is that there's energy conversion from kinetic energy to electrical, and then from electrical back to kinetic, and that usually causes power loss. That's why you don't use such system on lighter machines. However, on bigger machines, there's an aspect of science known as surface to volume ratio, although it's not quite related. But if you scale it up by volume, and then there's also, say for example, if I've got a block of thing and I scale it up in all direction by twice in length, it will scale up 8 times by volume or 4 times by area, whether it's surface area or cross-sectional area or any area. So with a mechanical drivetrain, you would have the rod, right? And if you're twice the weight, you will need twice the surface area of the rod, and it will get ridiculously big that it won't make sense. It will take up a lot of space on the train. If it's too small, it just snaps due to something called shear stress. So there's that. And another thing is, if you have it so big, it will also have a lot of mass, and that's extra mass to power to make it spin. You need energy to make it spin as well. So it would not make sense to use, even though you will preserve most of the kinetic energy with mechanical powertrain on this, it may need more kinetic energy to keep the components going as well. Whereas with an electrical powertrain, there are much fewer moving parts, which is quite a significant reduction for such a large machine. That's why most bigger machines use diesel electric powertrains. That includes ships as well. In many cases, they make the diesel engine and the generator as one assembly. In some cases they do that. When they manufacture the engine, they actually put the generator on board as well, and in the engine in one piece, and in the testing facility to test the engine, they test the generator in one go. That's for ships, for big ships. I'm not sure about the trains. It doesn't really matter that much, because all the engine does is to drive the generator. Another benefit to manufacture the generator and engine in one piece is that, in case you don't know, a lot of electrical components can work in reverse. So a generator can also act as a motor, so that can start the engine as well, in the case of diesel generator. Another example of electrical component working in reverse is that solar panels can act as... Do I need to slow down? Yes, I do. I'm getting there. Solar panels can act as LED panels. So if you put voltage through, it can light up. Yeah, there's that. That's diesel-electric powertrain explained in brief. Another thing about scaling up is the engine, the diesel engine, and usually, because when you scale up the volume by, when you scale up the, well, let's not go in there. Something to do with scale. Right, my next is red, I believe, so I need to slow down a bit. The larger the engine is, the slower it tends to run, and also the longer it takes to start the engine. Which is one of the reasons why you find cars with stop-start technology and you find buses with stop-start technologies, but you don't find lorries or trains with stop-start technology. That's because the engines on them are bigger, and it takes longer to start, and also it won't. And when the blimey, slow down. Stop talking, you stupid fat girl. You can hear the motor going, screaming. Yes, when you've got such a big engine, it won't use much fuel when it's idling anyway. It's not that it won't use any fuel, it will use much more fuel than a smaller engine idling. Yeah, but then it's not enough to make it make more sense to shut the engine. In fact, in many cases, the engine is left idling for a lot of hours. I know many trains, they start their engines 15 minutes before their departure and let it idle, and in ships they can leave it there for hours idling, or even days in many more extreme cases. Yeah, it's another thing to do with scale. Can I go? That button, because it registers the end, the rear end of my end as my driving upstairs. It registers as the rear end of the vehicle, because the game is stupid. I have to wait for clearance here. Hang on, does this train have an onboard toilet? Let me just go there. It better do, because sometimes drivers can be stuck here, in this case, for example, and can't really get off the train to use the loop. Right, I'm back. Hang on, let me get this thing out. I'm back from my wee, and I've got myself some biscuits and cake. Shouldn't have put them in the same box. And I'm going to skip the waiting bit because this is stupidly boring. Right, I have just saved the scenario and loaded it, resumed it. I saved it, quitted and resumed it. Now let's have a look. What is wrong with you? I'm already guided there, and that should not be green, the signal there. Stupid game. Maybe I need to move forward a bit and request clearance. Hang on, don't tell me that signal isn't mine. Oh, well, it is. Oh yeah, it is, because it won't let me. It won't show this. It won't show this up if it isn't mine. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go past this signal. Let me go. Let me go. Which idiot made this scenario? Oh, for flip's sake, just let me go. There's literally no one there. Stop here. You know what? I think I'll just stop here because it won't let me go, and the game is being stupid. This is not going to happen in real life because if it's empty, it's vacant, it should let me go. Rather than clocking up the railway, because Britain's railway is already clocked up. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here, and thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Good night.
Rolling stop, rolling stop, 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 rolling stop, stop, rolling stop, rolling stop, rolling stop, rolling stop, rolling stop,